Let's talk a little bit about the realities of cruising. It's an insanely amazing way to live, experiencing and seeing things that are uniquely beautiful to this lifestyle. There is a beautiful community of people that you meet along the way. It can be exhausting, and sometimes you need a break. What? I literally never considered this before we took off on our journey. Why in the world would we need a break from our vacation of a life? Reality check. Even out here, eventually you feel a little burnt out and you need a break from the boat. Yep, boat work is definitely a reality of cruising. There is regular maintenance almost daily, things break all the time, and haul-outs are pretty inevitable. For many of these reasons, we have landed in Puerto Penasco, a town just south of the Arizona border, perfect for collecting boat parts and maybe even taking a little American holiday.
Like wind sailing there.
Sun's come around. Are you courting now?
Yeah. In our last video, we left you in Puerto Penasco. We had just hauled out and Meraki was on the hard. Clearly today we are not on the hard.
It's a lovely day. It's a slow one, but it's lovely.
We just thought boat work videos can get a little bit monotonous, so we thought we would tell you a little bit about the work we did while we sailed to keep it a little interesting.
Yep. We didn't film a lot of the boat work like we did on our first haul out, and it's just too hot. So exhausting. Still dripping with sweat. All our mind power just went into living and fixing up the boat a bit, and to think about trying to film on top of that and piece things together, it was just too much.
It was tough.
It's too exhausting.
It's no secret that we were a little burnt out when we got to Puerto Penasco. We traveled a long way from southern Mexico all the way up the entire Sea of Cortez to the very tippy top. It was a massive effort. The kids are like roughhousing.
Yeah, if you can hear
ignore them, they're fine.
in the background.
So we were pretty exhausted.
Yep.
Like, we've been live aboard cruisers for 14 months by the time we got to Penasco. And
that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
It's not like a super relaxing lifestyle. It's a lot of work. And yes, you have the times where you're having sundowners on the beach and it's super chill and amazing, but that's not all of it. It's a lot of work, and we were exhausted and we were burnt out. So kind of last minute we decided to tidy up Meraki, and we were actually staying on our friend's boat, a catamaran called Nirvana, while they were away in the States escaping the heat.
We were very grateful for that. Thank you, Nirvana. It was a really cool experience. So
nice to be able to leave the boatyard and come back to like a clean boat.
I could just go, that's it, and just walk away and didn't.
It was really nice.
It's like going to work every day. Just nice to have the separation.
Yeah. So anyway, we wrapped everything up. Last minute, we decided to rent a car and drive to California. Who knows why we're up super early today?
To go to California.
California, here we come! Have a bit of a break from the boat.
Best move ever.
And a break from the heat. And it was so good. We spent 5 days in Newport Beach, just hanging out at the beach, surfing. Is it a little colder than Mexican waters?
Well, I got in and I was like, oh, this is cold. And I just totally forgot about it. And Tommy was like, it's really not that cold. I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that.
Mick hung out at Mini Surplus quite a bit, and we spent a lot of money on boat parts.
We've been thinking of bits and pieces that we've needed for months, but it's like our last chance, we felt, being so close to the States until we get to Australia to get anything. We're not going to find any, so we're trying to think ahead, and I think we did okay. I think it worked out well. Yeah,
we spent a lot of money on boat parts, but it was good. Then we went up to Venice Beach, and friends of ours that we met coming down the coast last year, they live on their boat in just outside of Venice Beach. And we stayed with them, and it was so much fun. The Valiente kids are amazing Opti sailors, and they took the boys out in their Opti sailboat and showed them how it's done. They had such a blast. Thomas was so in love with it that now we need to try and find Opti sailing clubs everywhere we go, I'm pretty sure.
I think there is a lot. There's a lot of those clubs. That's really fun for them to get into.
Yeah, and it was just a really great time. Sweet. Today we go back to Puerto Penasco. We're just going to get coffee.
Yeah, not to get run over.
Try not to get run over. Back to Penasco we go. It's been a great trip, hasn't it, Bentley? Yeah.
Sorry, the wind just changed. It's so light. We're doing 1.8 knots. That's pretty relaxing. We have 30 miles to go today. I'm not sure we're going to get there. It's saying we're going to get there at midnight. And it's about 10 a.m. We're back.
So it was a really great trip. We came back to Mexico and back to the boat feeling a little bit rejuvenated and ready to dive into boat work.
This haul out was a little different than the first one. The first one we just bought the boat and we were focusing on like safety things and making sure the major components weren't going to break down on us.
And it was just nice to have the time to focus more on like the little things, whereas our first haul out, we were on a pretty tight timeline, so we just focused on like the really big projects.
Yeah, and then once we got going, we realized some areas that were a weakness for us and we addressed them up there.
But we're really happy we had the time to just like really focus on the fiddly little bits.
Yeah.
I know that we talk about the weather a lot. I feel like we're always like, it's so hot, it's so cold, but it's like that dictates our entire life.
But everything revolves around that for us. We're chasing the seasons, and then with regards to sailing days and when we actually move, it's all about the weather and the wind and when it's safe to go and when there's enough wind to sail.
And
Today there is not enough wind to sail, but we're still sailing anyway.
So we don't have an air conditioner, we don't have a heater, so we're very susceptible to whatever the temperature is. But when we got to Penasco, we were like, we can't do this. We need an air conditioner.
Yeah, so we went and bought one like the second day we got there, and we installed it in the forward hatch to blow right down through the boat.
You have a plan?
It's really awkward. There's some screws underneath that just won't allow it to sit quite right. I'm not sure if we can use the hatch cover.
Oh,
but we'll see.
As a rain guard / push the air down here guard. It's about 85% humidity today. I don't know what the feels like temperature is, but that's what we go by because it always says like 32, which is very deceiving. You think, oh, that's super manageable, and then you add in 85% humidity and you just pour sweat all day. Made it.
And so we focused on doing inside projects first because it was just...
You couldn't work outside.
It was unhealthy being outside. So first up, once the air conditioner was installed, we got onto doing some engine work. If you remember, we had some intermittent leaking from our raw water pump that sucks seawater out and then cools the engine, and that was leaking whenever we turned it off, which was strange. When the engine was running, it was fine. When we turned it off,
like it pressurized and it was okay.
Yeah, so we had to rebuild that.
And we got a rebuild kit when we did our little vacation up to California. So that was the first order of business.
One thing we have to get out is the raw water pump. That's this guy here. This one! This one! Both the hoses are off. I now have to get, I think I can reach in this way and point. Aha! There's a belt here, and then there's a couple bolts holding it in. Once I pull that out, we'll be able to rip it apart. We've got a replacement seal kit, I think, or something, rebuild kit. So we'll get that apart and fix her up. So there's the pump there. You can see where the water's leaking out of that little slot and just dribbles down. So we'll get this top cap off. There's an impeller in there that will probably change. And then just pull the whole thing apart and take a good look at it. Ow! I just stabbed the screwdriver into my hand. Ow! I got the whole thing apart, I got it cleaned good. I got the old rusty bearings out. I think that's where the leak was coming through. And now I've got the new ones in, and I'm using my cabinet maker's tools, as I always do, as mechanical tools. So I just need to now press these bearings into the housing. So I've just got my F-clamp sent up there, and I'm tightening it, and it's going in slowly. It might need a bit convincing with the hammer, but it's getting there. But finally got it back together. Anyway, that's it. Some nice new bearings in the back, bit of grease on it. It's all ready to go.
Just as we found ourselves getting into a little bit of a routine in Penasco, we started to hear this rumbling of a tropical storm forming in southern Mexico. And as we watched it closer and closer, it actually was forecast to come right up the center of the Sea of Cortez, almost all the way to the top, to where we were in Puerto Penasco, which is pretty unheard of. Oh, so much better. Okay, I think we fixed the
just the shade and the lighting
for you. It's
really bad.
Crazy.
Just
okay,
close
sorry,
your eyes and listen to our voices.
I interrupted you.
So hurricane season on the Pacific side, not the Caribbean, Pacific side, they all form around Panama and they strengthen coming up the coast. And usually when they hit Mexico, they will then dive out towards Hawaii and dive off. Very rarely will they head straight up into the sea, and this one was on track to do that.
It was crazy. But as we continued to watch it and it got closer and closer, the forecast changed and it started taking that more west turn and just going out the outside of the Baja.
And we had friends, Jackdaw, and a whole bunch of other boats that their eye went really close to being straight over their heads. I feel like
if you watch Delos or Basic or any of those boats, they all were right in it. Yeah. It was really crazy.
Taku, Sailing Taku.
Oh, they did a great
They did
video.
a really good video, and it's out right now, and it was amazing. I loved watching that, of just their experience of right in that little hole.
Yeah, we'll link that somewhere here. So we did not get hit extremely hard, but we were preparing because leading up to it, it looked like it was coming straight for us. And we didn't only have Meraki on the hard, we also had our friend's boat, Nirvana, that we were living on, and we had to prep both of those for the hurricane. All of the boat work stopped, and our main focus became preparing the two boats for a potential hurricane and a potentially very wild ride. It's official, the tropical storm we have been watching is a hurricane, a Category 2 hurricane right now. It's staying on the Pacific side, but it's still gonna hit the Baja really hard. Like, we know quite a few boats who are still
in an
south
area.
And in an area in Bay of LA where they're gonna get hit hard. Luckily, there is a hurricane hold there.
Yeah, so the winds are counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere for a hurricane. So we will get the east side of the hurricane, so the winds will be whipping up from the south, southwest, southeast, depending on how close it gets to us. So we're gonna be watching out for that.
Doomsday shopping?
You would think so, but the timing just worked out that we needed groceries. I'm wondering what to do about our water. Can't drink the water out of the tap, so we have to get it delivered. So we have to get it delivered and pumped into Meraki, and then turn the tap on in the galley and fill up jerry cans and then cart them to Nirvana and fill. That's how we drink. I did think about getting our tank filled up. What do you think? Should we?
Sure.
I'm definitely going to cart some water over because if the streets get flooded and muddy.
It'll be really hard.
It's kind of fun. I'm kind of excited. As long as no one gets hurt, nothing gets damaged, I'm kind of excited.
What is the upside of a hurricane coming?
Well, it's windy, so that means it's cool. I'm wearing shorts and like real shorts instead of just boardies.
Yeah, we're like more than 24 hours away from when we'll see the most wind, and really it's not going to be too crazy, we think. But suddenly some cloud cover came in tonight and it is cool and lovely. We are actually sitting up in the non-air conditioned part of this boat and we're comfortable. Woohoo! What are you working on?
Just checking lines and things.
Where are we going?
We're going to tie down Meraki.
Yeah.
Are we gonna tie her like to the pavement?
Are we going to tie her to the pavement? No, but we're just going to tie everything down on her. Make sure she's secure. We're heading to Meraki, like Bentley said. We are less than 24 hours away from when we expect the hurricane activity to pick up.
The clouds and winds that are forming now are the very, very outskirts of it.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
This is the first evening, like the cloud cover, and there's a cool breeze.
When you say cool, 30?
Still really hot.
30 degrees.
But it's not as humid feeling right now. So we're gonna head to Meraki and get her all tidied up a little bit.
How shiny my teeth are.
I have to say the one I'm most worried about is Nirvana. It's very nerve-wracking looking after other people's boats. I'm not really worried because I think there's gonna be something bad happen. It's just more nerve-wracking when it's not your boat.
Yeah, and if something happens it's out of our control, you'll feel responsible.
Yeah, so all good. I think it's gonna be okay. We're thinking about everybody that's in Bay of LA and in the hurricane hole of Don Juan right now. They are already getting hurricane activity there, and the hurricane, the eye of the storm, is much closer to them than it will ever get to us.
Yeah.
Hola! Does it feel like home down there?
Yeah.
You miss it?
Stay low.
What about the boat hook?
Yeah, we'll tuck that somewhere.
Should I put it downstairs?
No. I slept really good last night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't a bad night.
No, it was great.
We held strong. We got updates from the boatyard. Salvador that runs the boatyard is amazing at updating everyone. We've got 20-foot tides right now. He sent us a picture of like the boat haul-out slip and it was only
I think 30, which is about
30 inches from the
just lower than a countertop height.
Anyway, got right up there. I think the rain is coming. So I think that could be more damaging to like all the homes and businesses in Peñasco than anything. Well, a little bit of rain, cooling, but not much. That is where we got hauled out. Can you believe that? And yesterday it was full right to the top.
Oh, I gotta be quick here. It's 10 a.m. Wind's still kind of the same. The rain is coming. Holy crap! I gotta go inside. Ah! That'll be Kate calling.
You okay?
Yeah, that came from nowhere.
We just ran out and secured a couple things, then we got soaked.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
Fine, I was just out filming an update and then I saw the rain off in the distance and then I rushed in.
The rain has come.
Boom.
And it's more rain, or more wind too all of a sudden.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm just gonna go around and tighten all the windows again.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's raining and the wind has picked up. It's a lot of rain. It just like started like that. It was crazy. I found a nice little protected spot. Ah! Hurricane K is here.
Boats are designed to point into the wind, so when it's windy and it's raining, all the hatches and everything is designed to either catch the wind if you want it or shut it down, and the wind and the rain will flow past, just like where the Dodger is, where you drive, like it's all angled that way. Unfortunately, our boat is not in the water, we're on the hard, and the back of the boat is facing where this wind and rain is coming from, so I can't go out. If I open this to check, it'll just get blasted coming in. So I'll have to try and pick the calm moments when the wind isn't flying at us to go out there and just make sure everything's okay. This is where we are right now. You can see that east side is just spinning around. That's where it looked like zoomed out. So the pressure's not too bad actually. It's in the it's almost 1,000, so it's definitely weakened. And then as you see, so that's right now at 11 AM. And it's going to blow past us. And that's 7 o'clock tonight. So we've got about another 8 hours and it'll really start to settle down.
As the rain started to ease, we were a little worried about all the flooding in the boatyard. Sometimes that can cause the boat stands to sink and fall over. So we were watching carefully. Luckily, we were on cement. In these next few clips, you can see just how dramatic the tides can be in the northern Sea of Cortez. Today, those tides, coupled with the storm surge, made the levels so high it flooded the yard. This is a clip from the morning where the haul-out slip was completely dry to this. You can't even see the haul-out slip. The day following the hurricane, we walked down to the Malecón, which is basically the main touristy strip in any Mexican town. We stumbled upon Federico's, a small restaurant with a gorgeous up-close view of the ocean. It was pretty clear they had suffered some pretty major water damage, but we couldn't believe our eyes when we saw the footage of waves crashing through the patio doors. We spoke a little to the owner, who through his exhaustion was quite upbeat and already cleaning up, pulling up tiles that needed to be replaced, and he was preparing to get his restaurant open once again.
Was there a balcony or
balcony.
I know we're just gone?
Yeah, it's done now. That one right there is already moved too. Yesterday I saw the waves on the bottom right there and move it like a piece of carton, you know. Yeah. You may move it and then release it to there.
Crazy that yesterday.
So calm today.